Hello and welcome to what I would call a next level mastermind exclusive presentation. Today we are going to dive into Facebook funnels for real estate professionals. Who and what are the next level mastermind? Well, it's a group of real estate professionals. We've come together here during this pandemic and it's just brought together some brilliant minds. We've got some fellow next levelers on the call with us here today to present, and then we have some others here just thankfully joining us and hopefully going to get a lot of information out of with what we share, the information we share with you guys today. So joining me today, I have Zach Rasinger and Shah Ahsan. Within the Next Level Mastermind, we have accountability groups, and Zach and Shah, we're all a part of the same group. And again, what brings us here today is that we noticed a lot of our colleagues needed more effective marketing in some way, shape, or form. So as an accountability group, we started looking into, what methods are out there, what has worked, what hasn't worked. And today we want to share with you what we found to help your business become more successful through the power of Facebook, or as we like to say, Facebook funnels. You'll hear a little bit about this later on in the presentation, but a huge thank you to Shah, who I think started drinking the Kool-Aid first. And then after Zach and I noticed how into it Shah was getting, we started realizing, whoa, there's actually a lot of information here that we think people haven't heard yet. So this webinar is for real estate professionals, whether you're a buyer, seller, broker, developer, investor, capital raiser, education creator, you name it. This presentation is for you. And I think, one of our biggest takeaways when it comes to marketing is there is a major difference with Facebook between your personal page and your business page. So today we're going to dive into the business page aspect and how to effectively create these funnels. We want to open the eyes of the real estate industry to Facebook in a way that we think we've never seen done before and help you take your company to the next level. So cool thing about Facebook is, they really do a fantastic job setting it up for you. They make it much easier for you to set up calls, emails, or meetings probably than you would expect. I know that's one thing that we've been really surprised by is just how seamless this entire process can be. Most importantly, it gives you a reach outside of your direct or organic network. I'll never forget on a call we had recently with Shah, he was talking about how organic reach is simply just declining more and more. And you'll notice that, there's so many paid for and sponsored ads that pop up now. And to get that just organic reach, it might not be enough, especially moving forward here. So this is major because you're going to be able to spend a lot more time with people that you want to get in front of by targeting the right audiences. As you know, there's not as many networking events going on right now as well. And so being able to pivot sales and marketing strategies in this way, we think are going to make strategies and processes much more effective moving forward. So again, for the most part, everybody, and the reason why I say for the most part is because I know Facebook's maybe banned a few places around the world. And actually, what? Speaking of around the world, I am going to share my screen here real quick because I have a cool little image that I took a screenshot of for you guys. We are covering the entire continent of North America today. Shah is live in San Diego. Zach is in Austin, and I'm way over here in St. John's, Newfoundland, Canada. I tried to just make it but connecting it through flights, it wouldn't let me do that, maybe because of COVID. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to make it. If you had to bike from place to place, this is what it looks like. But so anyways, we are covering a topic today that can just be applied no matter where you're at in the world, and start growing your own Facebook funnels. So quick call to action. Just want to remind you, if you're watching the replay today or with us live, show notes are down below. If you have any questions along the way, feel free to raise your hand or type them in the chat box. Our emails are also in the show notes, so you can reach out to us there. If you're listening on the Dream Chasers platform right now, be sure to subscribe. And if you're watching us on YouTube or, of course, Facebook, definitely connect with us there, and we'll be able to follow up with you and get you as much information as you'd like. So first up, I did mention Shah's going to be presenting some really powerful information today, kind of like the framework of Facebook funnels. But first, we have Zach Roesinger, who is going to share with us his story, how he got here in this Facebook funnels adventure. And he has a really cool case study that I'm looking forward to seeing him share with you guys today. So Zach, I'm going to pass it over to you first.
Cool. Thanks a lot, Adam. I'll go ahead and pop up a slide here and tell you a little bit more about who I am, how I end up in this next level mastermind, and really where the sort of coming of age for me happened in terms of Facebook. I'm Zach Roesinger. I'm a director of commercial real estate and for a company called Galvanized Holdings, and we're a PE firm. And I've worked for a lot of over the last 15, 20 years, a lot of different industries where I thought our buyers, my target profiles, were not on Facebook. I didn't think they were just hanging out on the updating their profile and liking and commenting on things. I knew they had real world things to do. They're CEOs of companies. They're making big time decisions. But the point is, and I didn't think about this much until Shah pointed it out, is that everybody has Facebook. Everybody has Facebook. And those that don't know everybody else who does have Facebook. So they're all being influenced all the time. Facebook knows a lot more about us than we think. And sometimes that can be scary, but for us as business people, that can be great. Just as Adam said, the world is changing. And those with more information that are able to process it quicker and use it to our advantage, things that we as real estate professionals have done for a living, which is being able to read people, to understand a room, to network, those things are of the past. And so I wanted to show in real time, once Shah brought up the fact that people are using Facebook funnels, and I'll describe what a funnel is versus just marketing, but Facebook funnels to advertise and to grow their real estate business very easily. And I want to point that out that we have designed this program for people to implement these things very easily without any technical knowledge. Facebook makes it so easy to do so, and then you can use that power in order to drop them into a Facebook funnel. So there are a few calls to action or a few actions at the beginning of just creating a Facebook page for your business. And I just wanted to point out these two things here. So what this is showing that your Facebook page is different from your personal page. And I'll show you an example side by side of what those look like. But the two things you'll need in order to move down this track and to take advantage of this are going to be a Facebook page for your business and a general ICP, so ideal customer profile. Who would you like to do more business with on a more frequent basis? So here's an example.
Zach, I think, could you share your screen real quick?
Oh, excuse me. Yep.
Sure. No worries.
All right. There we go. So we'll jump back in here. I'll show you the starting of the bird dogging, for example. So what I do in general in real estate is bird dog. So I go out and I try to find the deals. I work as many of my networks as possible, talk to as many people as possible, and try to make myself known in the markets where I want to be doing business the most, amongst the people that I would love to be doing business with. In order to do that historically, as Adam was saying, I typically did that through networking events. I did that through referrals. I did that through lunches and more networking events like a large conferences, for example. Well, we know that's for the time being decreased. So we're gonna find a new way to do business. And that way of doing business would help us most often knowing more data about the customers that we would like to do business with more often. So I just used, for example, a Facebook page, created one very simply for bird dogging and how to bird dog for commercial real estate professionals. Again, it's different than my personal page. And as I was saying, you need to move down this track to actually leverage Facebook on a professional basis. You're going to need two things. You're going to need a person or a page specifically for your business, but you're also going to need to know who your ideal customer profile is. And of course, as business people, successful business people, we know who we would love to be doing business with every day. I want to do business with those people more often. It makes my life better, makes me more happy, and I close more business and more deals. So I want to show you how Facebook can help you identify those people and how you can advertise and get in front of more of those people more often. Again, there's two distinct pages here. If you don't already know this, I wanted to highlight this. So this is, for example, on the bottom here, this is my personal page. This is where I would see my high school friends, and my family and friends, and everybody that I know is on my is a connection of mine in my personal page. Now your business page is different, and everybody should have a business page for their business. Now, oftentimes I talk to people and they say, yeah, my broker, they have their own page and it's for information and it's great, but I don't receive any leads from that. And though I am on there as a curator or I am on there as an editor, I don't have anything to do with that page. My point here is that everybody should have a business page specifically for your business, you as a broker, real estate, investor, developer, even if you're part of a bigger company, because this will allow people to contact you directly. It's also going to allow you to advertise to people, specifically the people that you want to be talking to more often. So the process of this, and as Adam was saying, Shah kind of brought this to us in the past and said, hey, we should really look into Facebook marketing. I wasn't a big believer in it, primarily because I didn't think my clients and customers were on Facebook. And as I thought about it more, of course they are. They're on there on a personal basis. Not only are they there, but the people that I don't know, which is the most important part. The people that I know already and do business with, they trust me. They refer their friends to me. But those people that I don't know, those people in markets that I haven't worked on yet, that I'd like to be in, those are the people that you want to be in front of more often, and you want to give them your value statement. Why should they come to your page or do the action that you're asking them to do? And I'll show you how you are able to do that very easily and grow your business through getting in front of the people that you don't yet know and how you provide value to them. The second part of this is creating a Facebook ad, and I want to make sure that everybody knows that it's not a different. Facebook by nature makes it extremely easy to do this without any technical knowledge, and they walk you through it step by step. As Adam was saying, we're going to include a link down below for the way that Facebook asks you to create ads or makes it easy for you to create ads. Again, it's not any auxiliary service. It's not a marketing firm. It's specifically inside of Facebook, makes it very, very easy to advertise for your business. I wanted to show you what it looks like inside. Once you do that, once you create a business page and you tap that, as we were seeing here, create an ad, it looks a little bit like this. It walks you through the demographics, which Shah is going to talk about, who you want to be talking to more often, who you want to be doing business with more often, and who you want to do what you want them to do. So what call to action would be most important? You know, is it booking an appointment? Is it calling you directly? Those are decisions that you're going to have to make based on your business. How do you like to do business? And what would be the easiest and most effective way to get in contact with you? There are very easy to use prompts inside of the Facebook advertising platform. And I wanted to show these screen highlights here primarily because it's going to allow for easy walkthrough of just coming through and saying, here's what I would like my ideal customer profile to do more often. And they set it up as an advertising platform. Obviously, they want you to get more out of it and spend more money inside the platform. And that's how all of us as business people are able to allocate our marketing dollars, is where do you get the most return on your money? And it's very easy to see versus traditional advertising and putting a newspaper ad or a magazine or advertising on a billboard. That's very difficult to understand where people are going, what they're doing, what actions they're taking from those various methods. Whereas on Facebook, it's super easy. You spend $2 a day and you close 3 deals on that. I mean, the return on investment on that is absurd and insane. So I want to be able to track that for my business, but I also want to be able to understand what $1 in actually means to $2 coming out. So they make it very easy. I wanted to highlight that. It takes no technical knowledge to do so. Again, the whole motivation of advertising on Facebook or using Facebook in order to create a funnel is to have them take an action that is easiest to engage with you. Now, whether you want to have them engage with you directly through, and these are all the drop-down options. Shah's going to go through a lot of the different options that are available. But any of these things, if you want them to take time to call you, or you want them to give you their phone number and you can call them, it just depends on how you best do business. So it makes it very customizable to your business method. As Adam was saying early, this is an old movie. What About Bob? But everybody has an ideal customer profile, and one of the questions that we asked a fellow member in our Next Level Mastermind is, as a real estate professional, and he admittedly said, I don't know anything about Facebook.
Zach, I just want to real quick hop into it. I think it's
Sure.
important to give a background that the person you're referring to now, we can give his name because he's based out of Mexico. So again, that just applies to the fact that this works everywhere.
Yeah. So our fellow cohort member, his name is Fletcher, and Fletcher Wheaton is a great real estate developer. He's down in Mexico. Again, as Adam was saying, he has not, though, historically had a big technical presence. He just really started ramping up on his LinkedIn, has never used Facebook for marketing before, didn't really have an idea of where he wanted to, where he was sourcing his leads. Historically, it was from referrals. Historically, it was from conferences and people coming down to visit. Well, as we know, in the new era, that doesn't happen very much anymore. And so he needed to figure out a new way to do business. And he said, hey, Zach, I don't know anything about Facebook. In fact, I just use it to talk to my friends. And I don't know how I would use it for business. I don't think my customer is there. And my response to him, and Shah and I came to him with an idea, said, if you could talk to the easiest, best, and most likely to close candidate profile or prospect, who would that be? And he said, well, I don't know. I got a few different people. I said, the best and easiest deal you've ever done. He said, oh, I've got that easily. His name is John. He lives on the East Coast. He has considered buying a place, 55 years old, is considered buying a place outside of the United States or in the southern United States for those long winters. He contacted me through a referral, and once we got on the phone, we hit it off right away. He lives on the East Coast. He's 55 years old, and so he's planning on retiring in a few years, but he wanted to make an investment today in a place in Mexico where he could take his family for the next 10 years until he retires. And then after that, they'd split time between Mexico and Boston. And in the meantime, he could rent it out for passive income. He said, that's my most ideal customer. This guy closed very easily. He was able to wire the funds and the deposit. If I could do business with that guy all day, every day, I would love to do that. My life would be so much better. And I said, guess what? That's what Facebook will allow you to do. Now, all you have to decide is how you want to engage with quote unquote John. You've already lined out exactly who John is, but how would you like to engage with him more often? How do you provide him with more value? And how do you spend less time working with or answering the questions of the non-Johns out there? And Fletcher said, that's exactly what I'm looking for. I'm getting a lot of people asking me about what mask wearing will happen in the future down here, and what the negotiations are happening between Mexico and the United States and crossing the border. He said, I don't know any of that stuff. I deal in real estate. I sell great condominiums down in Mexico for a great price, and we help you lease it out or rent it out when you're not using it. Very simple. But for the rest of that, I spend too much time talking to people or answering their questions about things that are unrelated to real estate. And I said, great, that's what your Facebook page is for your business as well. It allows you to answer those questions as an information source outside of what your broker is doing, outside of what your complex is doing. All of that, you need an information page. I'm sure your broker has one set up already. This one's specifically for the questions that you keep answering and you wish you didn't have to answer as much, or you want to give a blanket statement. Use your page for that, but also use it to have people engage with you. And he said, great. If I could have them call me by clicking and calling a button, I'd do that all day, every day. And I said, great. That's exactly what this will do for you, and makes it very easy without any technical knowledge. So here is the challenge that I put out to you, my real estate friends, is to create that page. If you already have a Facebook page for your personal reasons, you don't need to spend time souping that up if you don't want to, building out your friend network. It's a great way to do it. People trust you, and that's a great way to advertise or learn about what's happening inside of, for people to learn what's happening with you, and to share your life if you like to do that on the internet. But this is more important. If you want to build your business, if you want to create value and show people exactly what you do and have them motivate them to take action, so that you're talking to more of the Johns out there and less of the people that you don't see closing very often, this is the exact way to do it. Creating this page and then creating an ad using the very easy to use walkthrough creation that they have set up specifically for Facebook will allow you to see what $1 in today will mean for you in terms of ROI of growing your business. So run it for a week. And this is what I did. This is what Shah motivated me to do. He said, hey, take $1 a day, take $5 a day, whatever you want, and add it in and set that threshold. Very easy to do again on Facebook. Set that threshold of how much you want to spend per day, and see what it actually generates. Are you talking to the people you want to talk to? Is it advertising or putting your call to action in front of people that you normally wouldn't have engaged with, but you'd like to do business more often? And then change it. You can always change it as you're running the campaign, as they call it. You can always change it and decide what your success metrics are. So is that a deal closed, or is it more leads in the pipeline? The next thing you need to do, and the reason that we call this a funnel versus just Facebook advertising, is it creates a step in the process for you to get started of actually engaging with these people. So you're advertising to somebody, or you call them, you email them, they email you or call you or message you. The next step past that is actually putting them into the funnel. And what the funnel actually looks like is a little bit more like either one of these two things. So HubSpot, which is a free CRM, allows you to easily organize your contacts and engage with them. You can automate it or not. It's completely free. The other way is just a simple spreadsheet, right? The Fletcher Wheatons of the world out there don't necessarily need to get deep into the weeds on HubSpot marketing and allowing setting it up for automatic engagement over calls and emails. Just put it in a spreadsheet and track how many times you're contacting these people outside of Facebook, whether it's a call, email, or otherwise, and how likely that is to close. I think you'll find that by talking to more of your ideal customer profiles out there, you're going to spend more time enjoying your business, closing more deals, and really loving life. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Shah. He's going to get a little bit more in depth in the marketing side of things. And I've learned a lot from everything that he's taught me so far. So Shah, with that, I'm going to hand it over to you. Okay.
I'm gonna hop into real quick. Thank you, Zach. Super helpful. Shah, make sure you're ready to share your screen, because I know Zach just turned his off. And I think one thing that really again pushed us to do this presentation was Zach ran an ad for a week, and I think aside from all the other steps that he just shared that are important, running that ad for a week, I think, is what is going to give anyone a taste for what we're talking about today, and make you much more comfortable with setting up your own funnel. So if there's any one actionable step I could say, besides creating the page after this, just go run that ad for a week and see what it does for you, and then things will start to work. So without further ado, Mr. Russell Brunson Jr. I know Shah also started going down this rabbit hole once he read Expert Secrets, kind of like the framework for internet marketing over the next 10 years. That's enough for there. Shah, the microphone is yours. Let's see what you got.
Sounds good. Thanks guys. Zach, you did a great job setting up the stage for what I'm going to talk about today. So I'm actually going to go into detail as to why we have ads, what's the point of ads, how to actually build an avatar or like an ICP, an ideal customer profile, and then show you guys a few examples of some funnels that you can get started with. So what is advertising? Now, there's this misconception that it's about selling, but the truth is that the reason that you as a business advertise is that you're trying to express the message that speaks directly to your prospect. And the message has to address pain points that show what your solution can do for them. So when you're in business, you're not selling products. The products are mechanisms for obtaining an outcome or a result. So if you're a broker, or if you're, let's say, someone in the service industry, real estate services industry, you're selling something that produces an outcome for your prospect. And the goal for an advertisement is to focus on the prospect. Nobody cares about you or what you have to say or any features that your, let's say, services include. It's more about what can you do for them, how can you capture their attention, and how can you speak to them as if they're a person. The problem with traditional advertising, it was done on a mass scale and there was no segmentation. So everyone just kind of grew numb and they stopped caring. And the last thing you want your ad to do is to like just fly over the radar, fly over people's radars. The goal of advertising is that, you know, we want to have conversations with people and show them the value proposition that your business or service can offer. And this is especially difficult today because, you know, it seems like we're in this ADHD environment. And the truth is that people will make a decision within 3 seconds. So it's a pretty tough environment. And that's why when you're making these ads, you have to design them in a specific way that's so directed and targeted to your prospect that it's almost irresistible. And I'm going to go over some more detail as to how to do that in the following slides. So where do we begin from here? Well, we begin with the prospect in mind. Everything has to do with your ICP. Every ad, every service, every offering, it has to be something that directly speaks to them. Now, over the next few slides, what we're going to do is that we're going to have a short exercise in which the participants, both on the webinar and the participants on the call, we're actually going to start building our ideal prospect. And we're going to start with a few segment metrics. So who is your ideal customer? So if you guys have a pen and paper, and if you're listening to this or watching this on YouTube or the podcast, then, you know, take out a pen and paper if possible and, like, you know, start writing these things down. You know, what's the name of your prospect? How old are they? What's their gender? Where do they work? What's their job title or occupation? Where do they live? Are they married? What's their education level? So I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of a break just to take everything down. I know that was a lot of information, but, you know, start writing this down. It doesn't have to be perfect. The goal is to actually start thinking about who your customer is. Now, for a lot of businesses, you're going to have several different types of ideal customers because, you know, you could have like a male and a female version. You could have like someone who's like 25 to 35, then 35 to 45. They could live in Miami. They could live in Los Angeles. I mean, there are multiple versions of the ideal customer, but, you know, start with one and then we'll go from there. All right, so next slide is, okay, so now what are their short and long-term goals? What do they value? What challenges do they have? What pain points are they currently experiencing? How aware are they of the problem? How aware are they of the solution? What do they feel or believe as of right now? Where are they in their lives, and where do they want to be? These are all slightly more detailed, nuanced questions. You know, take your time with these ones. It's definitely something that you got to put a little bit more thought into. They're not as like simple as just writing down the age and location, but this is sort of the basis for actually having your marketing campaign set up, because your marketing campaigns are going to speak to exactly these problems and solutions and current limiting beliefs of your prospect. Okay. Adam, if I'm going too fast, let me know.
You're good. Especially since on the replay, we'll be able to pause it and just answer these questions at our own pace.
Okay, perfect. So now who's your ideal customer? And we're going to part 3, which is what do they get excited about? What do they actually care about? Why should they buy from you? What's stopping them from buying from you? Now this part, you know, these are what are referred to as objections, and an interesting ad idea or an interesting campaign, whether it's content or if it's a video, is address these objections up front before they actually talk to you. Because the last thing you want to do is actually get on the phone and then realize they have all these objections that you could have actually dealt with prior to even going on the call. The next thing is what interests do they have? Who do they follow? So for example, they may follow, you know, they could follow Grant Cardone, or maybe they follow the Best Ever Show, if you're in the syndication business. Yeah. What outcome are they looking for? How can your offering solve their problem and bring them their desired outcome? So these, again, very detailed, very nuanced questions. Take your time. It's not going to be a matter of like just writing down the name and the age of the person, of the prospect. So we're going to go on to the next one. Okay, so this is probably the most important one. This is something that I took directly from Russell Brunson, because I think this is a powerful 5-step framework, and it comes down to, what do your prospects dream about? And whatever they dream about, like for example, if you're in the syndication business and your prospects are dreaming about pursuing passive income and pursuing financial freedom, then encourage them to continue their pursuit through advertisements, through any kind of marketing that you do on Facebook. The next prong of this 5-prong process is, what do they fear? And whatever that fear is, put it to rest. And the reason, for example, if your customer fears not being able to, close on their first home or their first real estate, assure that they will be able to do it, and that it's not impossible to get past whatever barrier they're facing. You have case studies that show how other people in their situation were able to, overcome whatever obstacles that they may have. Now for step 3, what are some of their past failures? And for a lot of people, that could be something related to like a bad investment. It could be something related to, losing out on a deal because of a mistake, or it could be some legal issue that they had. Whatever their past failure is, you want to be able to justify it. You want to be able to create a mechanism or a means to show them that, listen, we understand that we're human, we make mistakes, but, you can change. And, this is how you can, rectify whatever previous errors you've made previously, sorry. Okay, now step 4, what are they suspicious of? And whatever it is, you want to confirm these suspicions in an honest, forthright manner. Many people, for example, in the real estate business or in the syndication space, they're suspicious of things like get-rich-quick schemes. And, and they kind of know it, but they're not entirely sure whether something is a get-rich-quick scheme. And you can just address that up front and be like, yeah, there is a lot of, get-rich-quick schemes, a lot of, BS out there. And you confirm that. And that's how you build trust, in the sense that your prospect now sees you as somebody that, is on the same wavelength, because they're seeing what you're seeing. Now, the next step is, who are their enemies? And throw rocks at these guys. So, for certain people, their enemy could be, the competitors. It could be somebody, it could be the local municipal board. It could be the IRS, throw rocks at these guys and show them that, like, hey, like, you're bigger than these guys. You don't have to deal with them. And the reason you do that is you create like an us versus them sort of divide. And that's a very powerful, it's a very powerful narrative that it works in marketing. And if you want to see a case in point, just look at Donald Trump's presidential campaign, the us versus them divide. And, you have the swamp, you have like, this metaphorical figure of like this opposition that's trying to, impede on your liberty or whatever, right? That narrative is essentially this whole enemy thing that Russell Brunson talks about in greater detail. So I hope that was helpful. From here, we're now going, oh, I forgot, we have another slide. Yeah.
Yeah, and real quick, I saw Zach just made a brief comment there. How do you know what your ideal customer is dreaming of?
That's, again, these are...
let me clarify this a little bit more for you. So I am a data-driven guy. Sounds like you spend a lot of time analyzing data as well. The ideal customer profile, first 2 slides that you showed, are very data-centric. I can tell you exactly who buys and what typically their age range is, all the things that Facebook allows you to filter down by. The second 3 slides that you showed there were all subjective. What do they dream of? Where, what are their goals? What are their values? All of these things, I'm thinking that you have to ask them, what do you fear? What keeps you up at night? Because people don't list that as, it's not one of the questions that you have to fill out when you're answering your Facebook profile. What do you fear? So, second half of that, I think needs I was just looking for some clarification of how you would suggest finding out what do your customers fear, or who is the enemy? Those questions are great questions to use, particularly for future business, but engaging with somebody to find out what they fear is a very you need to be on a pretty good personal basis with somebody if they're going to tell you what keeps them up at night.
Yeah, no, with regards to like those some more subjective questions, the reason again, like not everyone will be able to answer every single question. The reason I have all these questions up is more like I want to get people to start thinking more deeply about both the hard like data and like some of the more softer elements with regards to how people are feeling. Because the reason those questions matter and how you can get that information would be like, for example, if you're a broker for first-time home buyers, you're going to have a general feel for, how people fear and what do they dream about. If you're in the syndication business and you're dealing with, customers on a daily basis and you're talking with people, you have a feel for what people actually care about. And that's something that you may not necessarily be able to use for Facebook, but when you're making your ads and you're doing just broader marketing, your ad copy will reflect these particular like nuances. So that comes down to speaking with people and just being in your respective industry and like being in touch with your market. Because at the end of the day, like I don't know, for example, like I don't know anything about bird dogging like the way you do, Zach, right? But you have a pretty good idea as to like, because you were in the situation where you got started in bird dogging and you didn't know, so many different things, and there were things that you dreamt, maybe not dreamt about, but things that you kind of wanted to attain through bird dogging. So that's something that really well and nobody else would. So these are like sort of metrics or questions or details that only you as the professional in your industry would know about. And like Facebook won't necessarily help you do that, but when you're making your ads, you want to be able to touch upon those. And that's how good ad copy is written. It's sort of like speaking to the person at an individual level. Does that make sense, Zach? Awesome. So we're going to jump to, now I know I went over like so many different questions and
you've got, we'll say this too, because you've got the entire presentation here is pretty powerful. I don't think, we got roughly 10 minutes here. So if we don't get through it all, we'll make sure that there's a way people can follow up with you, Shah, to get these slides.
Of course, absolutely. Now that you've had all these questions answered, we have this fill in the blank exercise that I just wanted everyone to go through. And the reason I have this fill in the blank exercise is because that's going to give you a lot more clarity as regards to what your marketing strategy should be, or it should give you more clarity as to like how you should position yourself in the market. Now, we're going to have part one and we have part two. Now, part one says, if you are, and then you would insert the person or your ideal customer profile. So for example, if you are a first-time home buyer in Austin, Texas, that's your, or if you be a first-time home buyer between the ages of 25 and 35, that's your ideal, that's some like, that's one ideal type of customer you have. So if you're a first-time home buyer going through this problem, and it could be, if you're a first-time home buyer in Austin, Texas, having a hard time finding a home in this submarket, and right there you've identified a problem. And for certain customers, they may have multiple problems, but let's start simple. Let's start thinking about our prospect. Let's start thinking about the problem that they're having, or the many problems that they could be having right now. So that's part one, and this could be just a very easy way of identifying who the prospect is in a very sort of succinct way. Now, part two is, so if you are this person having this problem, take this action and get this result. Now, the action from your standpoint could be, schedule a call me, message me, download my free ebook, check out this checklist, take this quiz. And by doing so, you're going to attain a certain result. Now, this result could be, again, I don't know what the result that you're intending for as a business, but if you're a first-time home buyer, take this action and find out all the off-market deals that are currently available in Austin for starter homes, right? That's just a very simple way of it's a simple way of kind of like capturing your value proposition as a business, starting with your customer, the problem they're having, the action you want them to take, and what result they can get. And I think that's a very good way of starting out, thinking about what your business can do for people and how your business addresses a problem that your customer have and the solution that it can provide. We're going to jump ahead to the next fill in the blank, which is a variation of the first one, but it could also be very powerful for helping gain clarity with regards to the business and what your strategy is. Now, here's how this one goes. By doing this, so it could be by calling me or by scheduling a call or scheduling a meeting, I can help you achieve this result by, and then you explain how you can do it. And this is what's really powerful, this is the really powerful part, by inserting what you can do for them. Show them why you matter and what you can do for the prospect. And if you can encapsulate that in a short sentence, it can go a long way in helping you build traction and build some sort of trust with your prospect. So we started off with the person, the problem, the action, the result, and now you want to talk about how you solve that problem. And that's just a three-step format that I thought would be very helpful, because it took me a while to think of this. And now that I have the framework, I think that by sharing it, I think a lot of you folks listening or watching this can also develop a clearer idea as to how can I market effectively. Okay, once we've done that, we draw them into a funnel, and you want to attract them through what's called a lead magnet. Now, a lead magnet it's just a piece of content that you offer to buyers in exchange for their email address. It could be phone number, it could be personal information. And you've probably seen plenty of these. You see free ebooks, free guides, checklists, etc. And the next slide is basically just an example of several lead magnets that exist. So, we have ebook, video course, quizzes, 30-minute consultations. And these are things that you offer. And these can be things that actually directly speak to the problem that your prospect is having. So if your prospect is having a problem doing due diligence on multifamily, you offer a checklist for multifamily due diligence. That's just one example. I don't want to go through all of them because I could literally be here for hours. So let's move on. Now, the more sophisticated marketers and the quote unquote gurus, the real difference between them and let's say someone getting started out is that they just have more content and more lead magnets. So a lead magnet is essentially used to create what's called stacks. And the more stacks that you have of a lead magnet, the more sophisticated your funnel will be. But you don't need to have so many to get started. A simple lead magnet is enough to get the ball rolling and start getting clients coming through your funnel. But I just wanted to make that distinction because the lead magnet and then building those stacks is the foundation for a lot of good marketing campaigns. If you look at Joe Fairless, if you look at Grant Cardone, they're just masters of building these multi-stack, multi-layered funnels where they have lead magnet, paid course, paid book, webinar, events, and it just kind of builds upon that. And that's essentially the foundation for a lot of marketing, or at least the foundation for building a very sophisticated marketing machine as a business. Now, I have a few funnels that I wanted to talk about, and we're just going to talk about two. If we have time, we'll talk about the third one, which is my favorite funnel. We're going to talk about what I call the little funnel. And the little funnel is essentially, designed for people that are in time-sensitive businesses where they just want to get on the phone and start talking. If you're dealing with seniors, for example, that like being on the phone, this is something that probably works well. So this funnel is essentially where you create a business page, you create an ad based off those previous value proposition exercises. You choose your target market, so your ideal customer profile, and your call to action be set as a call now button, or it could be a message now button if you're dealing with a younger demographic, since they don't want to really be on the phone as much. And you could run an ad like that, and you can run it for a week and just, you can gauge how many people are actually calling you, how many messages are you actually getting. And this is sort of a very rudimentary funnel that anybody could use to get started, to start building traction with, having some sort of client list. This is Little Funnel 2.0. This is a more sophisticated version of the first funnel. I like this one better because instead of having a call now button, you have a schedule a call to a Calendly link. And then once prospects click on the Calendly link, they have to input their email address. And once they input their email address, you can add that to your mailing list. And I think this one's far more powerful because of the fact that you can have the call and you can have it at a set time that fits your calendar. You have their email address, and you can add that email address to the mailing list, which you can then use to you can then use that email as part of like a drip campaign that you can implement. And for those of you not familiar with the drip campaign, what that is that it's a series of pre-written emails that are designed to convert a cold lead into a warm lead and ultimately a hot lead. So this is something that I prefer over the first one, but if you just want to get started, then little funnel one will definitely get the trick done.
I'm going to say, Shah, this is the one that you had me go down, and I was not familiar with before talking to you about it. The little funnel one is good, but it's again very rudimentary, as you were saying. This one is just kind of one next level, but it makes a world of difference to have people actively engaging with you on your calendar. I think the Calendly link idea is great because that allows you to say, here's the times that I'd be willing to take a phone call. Calendly is great as a free service to allow people to book onto your calendar when it's convenient for them and for you. And to do it this way as a call to action, I think is a brilliant idea. The call or the click to call and then gathering the email at the same time is a fantastic way. I think we go down a little bit of a slippery slope when we start putting it into actually like a campaign. I love the idea. I just think that just little funnel 2.0 at a very high level of collecting the email address and getting them to book on your calendar is a fantastic idea.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, having the drip campaign would definitely be, not just time consuming, but, depending on your business, people may not want the emails. They may not want to be emailed as well. So, I mean, use your judgment, use your discretion. You know the kind of customers that you have and what they want. And if you are running a drip campaign, make it something that's valuable. I mean, if you're going to use the Gary Vaynerchuk principle of jab, 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 right hook, keep giving value. That's the general premise of like content marketing. Just keep giving value. If your drip campaign is something that you believe will add tremendous amounts of value, then yeah, you can have your prospect signed on. If you're not comfortable, if you don't have one, it's not a big deal. But the thing is that you have that email, and that's makes a world of a difference. And that's why I like this funnel. It was something I thought about yesterday. I thought, you know what, I'm going to put this in the presentation because I think this is something that is easy, it's effective, and it gets results. Now, moving on, I have one more funnel that I wanted to talk about, and then we're going to have a little exercise afterwards, and then we're going to just wrap things up. So this is what's called a big boy funnel. Stupid names, but let's actually go over, what this one entails. Now, this is for people with, I guess, more presence on Facebook. So this would be having an ebook, for example, and then clicking on the funnel, going to a landing page, signing up for an ebook. From there, you have, again, like a drip campaign. And then at the end of each email, the drip campaign, you can have a call to action, which could be schedule a 30-minute call. And then you have those leads retained on your mailing list for, like, let's say monthly updates or whatever. Again, this is a more complicated funnel, but I just wanted to show the progression between, how you can go from a simple funnel and then how you can use it to build, what I think is a very high quality, fairly professional funnel. I've seen a lot of people use this, including some very large syndicators. So I just wanted to go through the progression as to, how we can go from something so simple to something that's, quite professional without going through too many steps. Okay, now that I'm done going over funnels, okay, the secret to writing good ad copy. Now, this is probably one of my favorite quotes of all time. Good artists copy, great artists steal. Every single Facebook ad that's ever existed is available for you to, emulate. Don't reinvent the wheel. Look for patterns, learn from the best, and shave off years of learning experience. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Facebook ad library. And we're actually going to look at a few ads. Not now. Sorry, 1 second. Facebook ad library. If you have an ad blocker on, make sure you turn that off or go into private mode so you're not blocking the ads. That could be really annoying. Okay, so for the time being, I'm going to literally just use Grant Cardone because that's sort of how I got started. I started looking at his ads to get ideas. Now, if you look at Grant Cardone's page, you could literally see every ad that he's run. And if you click on them, you can see the ad copy he's using. If you click on the video, you can see the video. And every ad that he's ever had in existence, it's all there. And you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Now let's look at this ad, for example. Cash is trash. Do you agree? Most people wouldn't. And you see like what he's doing there is like, he's got this really bold headline, and then he has like, these, he's going through like this, this ad copy, which is kind of controversial, kind of, pushing people, poking at people, teasing them a little bit. He's like, hey, but I got some good news for you, and I have this book. But it won't last forever. He's framing it, and he's trying to frame it and be like, hey, there's, you can get this book, but it's not forever, so get it now. So you're getting people to act fast, right? So again, I'm going through this real quick. I'm rushing a bit, but the point is that I want you to see what the pros are doing. Model your stuff after what the pros are doing, and you'll definitely start seeing results. But Grant definitely knows who his target market is, and he's speaking directly to them. And that's essentially what good advertising is. I'm going to do one more example, then we're going to wrap it up. I'm going to do, if you really want to learn some good ads, check out this guy, Ben Simkin. He is probably one of the best Facebook advertisers. And here are some of his ads. He doesn't have a whole lot. I think he's in Australia, that's why. You can change the country. Yeah, that's why. Okay, here you go. These are some really good ads, just phenomenally well written, great copy, and he's showing the value proposition. It's got a very catchy headline. And if there's anything that I could leave off with is that David Ogilvy, who's one of the pros, one of the pioneers of the direct copy marketing, said that 80% of your ad spend comes through the headline. So when you're actually writing these ads and you're looking at all these pros, look at their headlines. That's something that is very, very specific. It's been very tailored to their target market audience. So when you start writing your ads, spend most of your time in the headlines, and then everything else will follow suit. That's it for me. I hope you guys found value in everything that I've covered today. Adam, I guess you can just take it from here.
You got it. Thank you very much, Shah. You can turn off your screen share now too if you want. Nice. Fantastic presentation. I really like the last 5 minutes we had there too as regards to ad copy, something that I think we all kind of know, but we don't realize it until you lay it in front of us like that. So I know something I'll be taking action on after this, and I hope everyone else too. Thank you. So guys, thank you for joining us here today at Facebook Funnels for Real Estate Professionals. If you enjoyed the content that we shared today, again, we encourage you to reach out to us to engage. Please send us your feedback because if you do like what you learned today, we are considering maybe doing this more than once. It's been a lot of fun, and I think there's, as you can see, a lot more details that we can get into here. So show notes I mentioned are down below. If you have direct questions, you can email myself, Zach, or Shah. All of our emails are there. One more reminder, if you're listening to us today on the Dream Chasers podcast, be sure to click the subscribe button or follow if you're on Spotify. And if you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook, the platform we discussed today, be sure to connect with us there. That's all I have. Zach, Shah, any closing remarks?
I would just like to reiterate, if you find there's a special topic you'd like us to cover, we'd love to research it and put it into practice. If there's anything that you are doing your first Facebook advertisement find is helpful or not, gaining any insights, please definitely email us down below. And Shah, I'll leave it to you. Very great job today. Thank you. And I'll let you close it out.
Thanks, Zach. No, I appreciate it. If anyone has any questions about Facebook ads, message me on Facebook. My email will be in the show notes. I'm always happy to help out and, give some tips and tricks as to how to make an effective ad copy or, what ad works best for your business. So feel free to reach out if you have ideas. I'd love to do this again and, share some more stuff. I mean, I feel like we're kind of just scratching the surface here. I told Adam I had way more slides than whatever I showed. So, we could do this again and, hopefully cover more in-depth topics. So thanks everyone. And thanks for tuning in, and I appreciate it.
All right. And in the name of the Next Level Mastermind, thank you everyone for being with us here today. Special shout out to Jim Morales and Mo Bina as well. As we like to say, guys, remember, in all you think, say, and do, take it to the next level.